All right, so at this point we got the fender, brake calipers, and tire off, tire and wheel. Use an old shirt here with a couple sleeves, protect the calipers from banging and everything, keep them from getting scratches. One of the things you notice, I've heard someone else say before, is you should take your wheel off at some point and re-grease everything. My bike here only has 3,000 miles on it, and from the factory there is like no grease on this front axle. It's like just about dry. So definitely gonna re-grease everything before it goes back in. I think it's definitely something worth checking. So and the next thing we got to do here is get these fork legs off so we can get them apart. All right, so the next thing we got to do here is we got to take the gauges out and the gauge cover. That's the only downside with these spatty bars is I got to tape up the paint here and try to finagle this gauge pod and cover out through the bars. It's kind of a pain in the neck. I've done it like 6 times. Kind of wish I did these forks earlier because of that. But once we get that out, we can get to the upper pinch bolts. And then if you see, the lower pinch bolts are right back here. And then the fork legs drop out, so we should be able to do the inserts right on. Get these lower 2 pinch bolts here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop this other fork out. Graham's gonna hold on to it for me. These things are only like 17 foot-pounds. There's not a whole lot holding them. All right, to take this fork apart, you gotta take the little pinch bolt completely out here, and then it's a 12mm Allen that actually holds the cartridge and the spring in here. You want to undo that before undoing the cap because the tension is enough to keep it from spinning. So we're gonna undo this bolt here, and then next we're gonna undo the top cap and drain this out and start pulling the guts out. All right. Well, saving your crush washer, you're gonna drain all the old fluid into a bucket or a drain pan. Not to make a mess.
Oh, does that sound all too familiar?
Really?
It sounded like that fork farted. I think it might have.
Give this a minute to drain.
You want to pump it all out? Anyhow. I gotta drain my fork fluid. Then in about 35 to 45 minutes, that'll be done draining. So you just stand like that.
All right, so now the fork's mostly drained. We gotta take, it's a 19mm Allen to get this fork cap off.
Just unscrew it. Let's go.
Gotta unscrew it. Try to keep some pressure
Oh,
on it
you were strong. You broke that without breaking a sweat.
so you don't take a fork cap to the face.
Don't get my Dixon all covered in oil.
Make the forks. Huh. But we're not.
We have liftoff.
So you get your fork.
Take that.
The factory spacer
Right in
comes
the
out.
garbage. Washer. Oh.
Yeah, there's still a lot of fluid in that one. I'll come back over the bucket.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Pull your spring out.
Good. All right. So we got all the old parts out, all the factory parts. I got a new seal on there. Don't even think it really needs to change the seal, but I had them. I changed them. We're gonna drop the cartridges in. I'll show you in this bottom fork leg. There's a little cup
Should be centered.
in there. And the other side it popped out, and we fit it onto the bottom of the insert. This one's staying put, so I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna leave that in there. Hold that for a sec.
And you're in the cartridge.
We got this whole cartridge insert here.
It's an insert.
Insert.
Insert the cartridge.
The spacer and a little spring here. And wipe some of this other oil off before it goes in into the oil, because you know you don't want oil in the oil. We tried not making a mess, but that didn't happen. That little cup in the bottom is what's going to grab onto this. with the drain bolt that actually holds everything together.
There you go.
So now we got that crush washer we saved. Just gonna clean this up a hair so that make sure it seals.
And just get that bolt started.
Yeah, for now I'm just gonna start this in here to kind of center everything and make sure we have everything in place with that copper crush washer. I'm gonna go all but snug, just so it doesn't leak when we put fluid in and tighten it up after. So that's snug. Instructions say 28 foot-pounds in that. I don't have a torque wrench, or actually I don't have an Allen wrench that big.
Give me the tool.
So we're going with good and tight on that.
That'll work.
Graham here is gonna set the seal. So,
Clip.
with the fork seal in, there's just this retaining clip here. Drops down in here. And you kind of got to finagle it in just to hold the
What do you
fork
gotta
seal
do?
in place. Finagle.
Finagle or Fagali?
It's all about the angle of the dangle.
That's it.
That's it. That's super easy. So now we're doing 6 ounces of fluid, which is pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna pour it on the measuring cup and pour it in, and we'll be ready to seal this one up. Got these all tightened up with a spanner wrench here.
What do I do with my hands? Nothing.
Instructions say to run them on the softest setting, which is all the way to the left. There's 4 clicks of adjustment, so I'm gonna run these all the way loose. We'll see how they feel on the bike.
You're
Yep.
starting with the softest?
That's what it said. At this point, both cartridges are in, both forks are built, so everything's kind of got to go back together. Reverse the way it came apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is feed one of these forks up in here.
Feed it.
Carefully. And get everything back in place.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Graham will tell me when it's flush up top.
Okay. Good.
It's good right there.
Yep.
We're gonna have to put a Torx back on these. I'm just gonna get snug to hold it. All right, so at this point, we got both forks in, torqued all 3 pinch bolts, 2 on the lower triple tree, to between 16 and 18 foot-pounds. So I set them right about 17 foot-pounds. So you got 2 on the bottom on each side and 1 on the top underneath the gauge bezel. So at this point, I'm ready to put the tire, brake calipers, fender on, and it's done from there. Ready to take it for a ride.